Random Reads. Hi guys, it's me, Hope from Random Reads, and today I'm going to be talking about language resources. So there are so many apps and things you can use to learn a language at this point, and they're basically all being dominated by these big companies like Duolingo and Rosetta Stone and Babbel and italki and Pimsleur. So I'm going to be talking about 5 language resources that I use that I never hear people talking about and that I think deserve a little bit more attention. So first I'm going to start with Coffee Break Academy. So Coffee Break Academy is a series of podcasts produced by a company called Radiolingua that's based in Glasgow, Scotland, and I think it's a really cool resource to use because podcasts are never really talked about in the language community, but I feel like they're really important for getting used to the language and hearing the language and learning how to actually speak the language in a more natural way. So I think Coffee Break has about 7 languages, and each language has different seasons. So for example, Coffee Break Spanish season 1 is like beginner, and then season 2 would be more upper beginner, intermediate. And so it's really has practical information. Like it starts off with things like greetings and how to introduce yourself, and then as you go further along, their episodes are more like how to use public transportation in a country that speaks the language, or how to seek help. So I think it's really cool because it teaches you how to say things that you would actually say in real life. And so Coffee Break does cost money, about 80 euros, I think, for one season, but that is only the premium version. So if you want to have things like transcripts for all the episodes and bonus episodes and all this extra stuff. So I personally use Google Podcasts, and it's basically the exact same thing if you find Radiolingua on Google Podcasts, and I've used it for German and Spanish and French. So I think it's a really cool thing that everyone should check out if you want to learn how to really just speak the language naturally and do it for free. So the second one I'm going to be talking about is Innovative Language. Innovative Language has a lot of different languages you can learn, and it's a website and an app, but I'm not going to be talking about either of those. I'm actually going to be talking about their YouTube channel. So they have a separate YouTube channel for each language that they offer called the Pod 101 series, and it has so many different videos like reading comprehension and listening practice and things like 1,400 most used words in French. So it has a lot of different videos for each language, and it's really helpful, I think, in my opinion. And there's just so many different things like vocabulary for the holidays in French, for example. So it's a really cool series that you should go to. Each language has its own YouTube channel, so I think that is a really good resource that nobody talks about and that everyone should try out. By the way, all of these resources are going to be down in the description, so please like and subscribe and comment down below what your favorite language learning resource is. Number 3 is not technically just for learning languages, but I think it's really important to mention, and that is an app called Amino. So Amino is like a collection of communities depending on what you like. So if you're vegan and you like to talk about different vegan recipes and stuff, you can join the Vegan Amino, or if you like anime, you can join a community for that. So I personally use the language learning community, and there are just so many people on that community, and everyone just has all these really helpful posts. Like if I have homework for Spanish and I just go in the app and say, hey, can anyone correct my Spanish homework, people will just do it so quickly. And there's group chats that you can do, and there are people who are just posting things like vocabulary in Spanish for this topic. And so there's just so many things you can do there, and this is a really good way to get a language learning buddy and learn really just from other people. That's basically how I learned Norwegian. Just, you can do everything on Amino. It's the best. Everyone should check it out. Yeah. Okay, my last 2 resources do cost money. The other 3 were basically free, but these 2 do cost money. I definitely think that you don't have to spend money to learn a language. That is just my opinion, but I think these two, I have spent money on them and I think they're totally worth it. So that's just a little disclaimer. These two are a bit pricey. So I'm going to start with Busuu. So Busuu is an app and also a website. I think it's the best resource if you have trouble having a format when you're learning your language by yourself, because some people do need a strict format and a more structured way to learn a language. So I think this is the best because it follows the CFR scale. So each language has an A1, A2, B1, B2, and it basically goes by that. And then at the end of each level, you can take a certification little test. It's McGraw-Hill, so I think it's pretty legit, but I think it's really good if you want to find more structure in your language learning. It has really cool and useful topics that you learn about, and it has, I think, 12 languages, and each language has a complete course and a travel course, so it's a little different depending on what you want to learn. Some of them, like French and Spanish, do have a little more extra things, so they have different specialized courses. I think Busuu is really cool, and it's probably one of my favorites because I think when you're learning a language by yourself at home, it's really hard to have a structure with it. You kind of just learn random things. So Busuu is really cool. You should check it out. I think it's somewhere around $30 a year, so I think it's worth it. Last but not least, one of my favorites that I've never ever heard anyone talk about, and that is 17-Minute Languages. So 17-Minute Languages is a website. You can use it on your phone, but it's not an app. It has 80 languages. So I think if you're learning a language that's a little bit harder to find resources with, like maybe something like Swahili, I don't think there are as many resources for Swahili as there are for maybe Spanish or French or German. So if you're struggling to find resources while learning the language you're learning, I definitely check out 17-Minute Languages. There's a very long explanation about how the website works on the website, so I would go to the link down below if you want to know more, because I could genuinely talk about this website for an hour. But basically it's a vocabulary trainer that uses the spaced repetition method. So after you go through your vocabulary and go say whether or not you remember the vocabulary, it does tell you how many times you have to repeat it in order for it to be stored in your long-term memory. So I think it's really cool. It's also based off of the CFR scale. So in the beginning, when you are starting a language, it does make you take a tiny test where you're basically just check marking all the words you know in the language. So it can kind of give you an estimation of how many words you probably know in that language and where you probably are on the scale. So I did it with French, and it said I probably know about 1,800 words, and based off of that you can do the A1 to A2 course or the B1 to B2 course. There's also business courses and traveling courses, so it's a really cool resource. This one is a little more expensive than Busuu, but you only have to pay once for the course and then you're pretty much set. It expires in 10 years, but I hope you don't take 10 years to finish the course. The cool thing about this is that every time you use the website, you get points, and based off of your points, you can get other courses. So for example, after I got 1,000 points, I unlocked the South American Spanish travel course. So basically, after getting one course, you can get the rest of them through your points. So I think it's really cool. Like I said, it's a vocabulary trainer, but it does have a lot of extra stuff like dialogue practice, so you can see the vocabulary you learn in context, and putting sentences together. It has a lot of games and flashcard things so that it can help you remember the vocabulary. So yeah, those are my 5 favorite language learning resources that nobody talks about. Again, that's Coffee Break, Amino, Innovative Language, Busuu, and 17-Minute Languages. So like I said, there's so many resources out there to learn a language, so comment down below what your favorite is, or maybe a language resource that you also think nobody knows about that we should all try out. And I'll see you guys in another video later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.